Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R650xs. In this video, we're going to specifically cover drives, both hard drives and solid-state drives. Let's get going. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R650xs. Do us a favor, if you find anything that helps you in this video, click that like, smash that subscribe. All right, well, let's hop in. If you've been following our series, this video is going to be specifically about drives, both hard drives and solid-state drives. So what we're going to do in this video as a whole, we are going to start by talking about the different types of chassis. Yeah, I know this is a drive video. Why are you talking about chassis? Well, the chassis will determine what types of drives to use. So after that, we're going to go over the different compatible interfaces. Then we're going to talk about the speeds and the sizes. Then we're going to talk about how to install them. Super easy because they're hot swap. And then at the very end, we're going to show you two tools that we like that are testing tools, HD Sentinel and Dell Diagnostics. Let's hop into the good stuff. All right, let's start off with the different chassis types. So there's three types of chassis. You're going to have your 10 bay small form factor or 2.5 inch, and that's going to be tri-mode. That's going to take SATA, SAS, or NVMe. NVMe is the real winner, and we should note with SAS you do need a hardware RAID controller. There's going to be a 4 bay large form factor or 3.5 inch, and that's going to take SAS or SATA. And there's also going to be an 8 bay, which is what we have here. That's going to be a tri-mode as well, SAS, SATA, or NVMe. And those are going to be your three types of chassis. All right, there's an option that is important to note that you can have a rear 2-port bay in the back. So that's going to be two 2.5 inch drives. It's going to be SAS, SATA, or NVMe. Now this is a good option because you might want to use this for your boot drives. Yes, technically you use a BOS card. If you use a BOS card, it's limited to SATA, which isn't terrible, don't get me wrong. You could put in a 240 or a 480 gig M.2, and you can put two of them in there, but they're SATA. So a lot of people are going to want NVMe for their boot. So that being said, you can use those two ports in the back for your NVMe boot drive as opposed to using your BOS card. But now, if you don't want to waste those ports, you need those ports for something else, for storage or whatever the case may be, you can still use a BOS card. To each their own. So what interfaces are supported? Well, realistically there are 5 interfaces. You can use SAS or SATA hard drives. You can use SAS, SATA, or NVMe for your solid state drive. So those are going to be your 5 interfaces. Now, the max sizes will depend on the form factor of your drive. So if you're confused, what does that mean? So this is what's called a 3.5 inch or a large form factor drive, and this is going to be a 2.5 inch. Probably don't need to tell you a lot more, right? This is bigger, this is smaller. So depending on if you have a 2.5 inch chassis, which is going to be the 8 bay and the 10 bay, or if you have a 3.5 inch chassis, which is the 4 bay, will depend on the max size for your drives. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to throw up a little handy dandy chart, and we're going to break down the speeds and the sizes for each interface. All right, let's start by throwing up the 2.5 inch. So the 2.5 inch is going to be your SATA solid-state drive, your SAS solid-state drive, your NVMe solid-state drive. That's going to be speeds of 6 gigabit, 12 gigabit, and 16 gigabit because it's PCIe 4.0. Now I do want to note that's a little rough sometimes to talk about because the numbers don't always line up, because if you put in a 24 gigabit per second SAS drive, it is not faster than a 16 gigabit per second PCIe drive. Lower latency, and there's a lot that goes into it, but NVMe is always going to be faster. Let's just say that. So the numbers are sometimes a little bit fooling, but NVMe will always be the fastest. So the sizes, according to Dell's spec sheet, for a SATA is 3.84, for a SAS 7.68, and for NVMe 7.68. We played around with it a little bit just to test it out. We threw a 7.68 TB SATA drive in, worked just fine. We threw in a 15.36 and a 15.36 again for SAS and for NVMe, and they work just fine. I wish I had one of our 30 terabytes on hand because I really believe they probably work just fine for the NVMe. We didn't have one, unfortunately, at the time we were doing this video, but those are the max according to Dell's spec sheet and what we have tested. Now let's go to SATA hard drives. SATA hard drives are on the 2.5 inch side. Probably the least likely drive that you're going to use, but we'll cover them really quickly. So 7.2K for SATA, 7.2K, 10K, and 15K for SAS. Well, you might ask, what's that K? Well, that's talking about thousands. It's revolutions per minute. So believe it or not, a SAS drive will go 15,000 times per minute spinning in a circle. So what do you think happens? The ball bearings will wear out. A hard drive is a mechanical device, so it's always more prone to failure versus a solid state drive, which is a electronic device. And don't get me wrong, an electronic device can fail. There can be power surges, there can be chip failures, there can be a lot of things that can go on. But that ball bearing spinning around, just saying. The performance is better for solid state drives. The cost is more, but the failure rate is lower. So in the end, you get a more reliable drive and a higher performing drive. It costs more, but that is how you're going to extend the life of your R650xs. At this point, an R650xs is 2 gens old. By the time you might be watching this video, it might be 3 or 4 gens old. So you might be looking at how can I upgrade it and how can I extend the life. Put in a solid state drive. That's how you extend it. That's how you make it better. Next up is our 3.5-inch drives. For 3.5-inch drives, technically you can put in a converter and still put in a solid state drive, but most people for the 3.5 inches are trying to use storage. So you're going to use a SATA hard drive or a SAS hard drive. Same deal, 7.2K for the speed for SATA, 7.2K, 10K, or 15K for a SAS. And the size is, according to Dell spec sheet, are 16 terabytes. Well, we've done some playing around and we threw in 20 terabytes for SATA and 22 terabytes for SAS. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if you could throw in 24 or 26 or 28, some of the stuff that's coming out right now. But that's what we played around with. All right, so the sizes for your hard drives, for a SATA 2.5-inch drive, are you excited? Get ready. It's 2 terabytes. You could probably throw in a 4 terabyte, but again, what is the point of doing that? Like, it's so expensive for a 2.5-inch drive. Just buy the solid state drive. For a SAS, it's 2.4. Again, so expensive. Just buy the solid state drive. It will actually cost you less to buy the solid state drive compared to a 2.5-inch SAS drive. It's a little bit insane, to be honest. That's why 2.5-inch hard drives, people just don't really use them. If you're going to use a hard drive, it's generally a 3.5-inch for storage, and you're going to put in like 20 terabytes or 22 terabytes, whatever the case is, because you want storage, right? So that being said, again, we heavily push everyone towards NVMe, better performance, faster, cheaper right now. Yeah, believe it or not, NVMe solid-state drives are cheaper than SAS or SATA solid-state drives. So NVMe, generally speaking, is the winner if your box supports it. So again, half the part of this video is to update the Dell spec sheet, help people down the line know that other things are still compatible. When Dell made their technical guide, when they made their spec sheet, they tested what they had available, and it hasn't been updated in years and years and years. That's what generally happens, right? So that's why we do this, to help you learn what is actually compatible and what actually works. All right, now that we know a lot more about our systems, what is compatible, what interfaces we can use, the speeds, the sizes, etc., let's show you how to install them. But before we do, I'm going to grab my SD gear and be right back.
Hey, this is Mason with Cloud Ninjas, and today I'll be showing you guys how to install your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R650xs server. So first we wanted to show you guys what a 3.5-inch hard drive looks like in a 3.5-inch tray if you're using the large form factor chassis. Now, if you use the large form factor chassis and you want to upgrade from hard drives to solid state drives, then we do have a solution for you here. See, this is the 2.5-inch to 3.5-inch adapter that can be installed into your 3.5-inch tray. So if you're looking for this kind of upgrade, you can visit our website and select the 2.5-inch to 3.5-inch adapter option. So that way you can easily get your solid-state drives to be compatible for your 3.5-inch chassis. So visit cloudninjas.com for this option, or you can reach out to us at sales@cloudninjas.com and we can help you find a solution. Alright, so now we will upgrade one of our drives in this server from a hard drive to a solid-state drive. All you have to do is click that orange circle button and the lever will pop out. Go ahead and pull the drive out, and as you can see, this is a 2.5-inch hard drive, and we'll want to swap it out for this 2.5-inch solid-state drive. So go ahead and press the orange circle on the tray to release the lever. Now we want to point out that if the tray ever gets stuck, you can easily press the spring in the corner of this lever, and that will help make sure that the drive slots in all the way. Alright, so go ahead and line up the leads on the sides of the tray to the tracks in the bay, and then we'll go ahead and push it in all the way, and then push the lever down to secure it inside the drive bay. As you can see, the tray did get stuck whenever we were slotting it in, and this is where pressing down on that spring will help with that. So we'll go ahead and show you that one more time, just popping out the lever, and you can go ahead and press on the spring right here. And this will get the drive all the way into the drive bay. And that is how you install your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R650xs server. So up next, we'll go ahead and show you guys two testing tools that we really like, Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel.
Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to test your hard drives and solid state drives with Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with Dell Diagnostics. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and boot up your server. Once you boot up your server, you want to go ahead and press F10, and this will go ahead and bring us into the lifecycle controller. Once we're in lifecycle controller, we can go ahead and scroll down to where it says Hardware Diagnostics. And then we want to go ahead and click on Run Hardware Diagnostics. And then you'll get this little warning right here. So it's just going to say it's going to take several minutes, so we can go ahead and accept that. And this will load us into Dell Diagnostics. So actually getting into Dell Diagnostics and actually running the test is pretty simple. So we're just going to let these tests run, and these tests can take several minutes up to several hours. So go ahead and just wait this out. If you're familiar with 12th gen and 13th gen Dell PowerEdge servers, you'll notice that this looks very, very different. In the 12th gen and 13th gen, you can actually see the different tests on the left-hand side of the screen, and you have a lot more information on the middle of the screen. And it's just a lot more simpler of a screen, but it's just going to go ahead and run through all of these tests. And at the bottom, you can pause these tests if you want, and then you can also see like what test specifically is running at that current time, an estimate of how much time is left for that test. So like I said, these tests are going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. So once that final test has stopped running, it'll go ahead and stop. And then we will get a message that pops up on the screen that says success. So this means all of our tests have passed. If you had any issues, then you would get an alternative message saying like, hey, these tests failed. And at the very end here, we can actually view all of the information and all the different tests that were ran. And this screen's a little bit more similar as to something we'd see on 12th gen and 13th gen PowerEdge servers. But yeah, we can go through here, see all the test results for each individual test, which is pretty neat. Information about the system health, the configuration, and we can even go into the event log, which is pretty useful. So that is how we do Dell Diagnostics and how we can test our hard drives, but also, everything else in our system. And if you really want to see if your system is healthy, then go ahead and run Dell Diagnostics. It'll give you a lot of information if all the components are working the way that they should. So now I'm going to show you how to test your hard drives with HD Sentinel. Alrighty guys, so I have HD Sentinel pulled up right now, and as you can see, we currently have 2 drives plugged in. We have this installed into a storage array where we like to plug in multiple drives at a time so we can test those drives. HD Sentinel is an awesome tool because you can see things like the power on hours, which is great, especially when you're buying used equipment. You can see how long that drive has been in use. You don't want to be using drives that have been, heavily used, because then you have a higher risk of drive failure. And that's one of the reasons why HD Sentinel is such a cool tool. But as you can see, we can just go ahead and plug a drive into the array, and it'll automatically populate within the software. Like I said, lots of information. It'll give you health scores of the drives. As you can see, the 2 we have up top, they have 100% health score, while the one at the bottom has a 99%. So all pretty good. So I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, go ahead, smash the subscribe and leave a like. If you're interested in purchasing a custom built server, or you're looking to buy some drives, we do have plenty of those in stock, so you can go reach out to us at sales@cloudninjas.com, sales@cloudninjas.com. Anyways guys, thank you for stopping by.